All right. Welcome back to Breakfast Daily on City TV. Our hashtag is Breakfast Daily. WhatsApp is 0550-585832. Send us your comments on everything that we're discussing. We're talking about secondary school education this morning and two very different incidents, but very important for us to discuss.
Now, the story actually began a couple of days ago when we have the story on citynewsroom.com where the story says a fire guts boys' dormitory of Nyinahin Catholic SHS, okay, and the entire boys' dormitory block A of the Nyinahin Catholic Senior High School at Etruma in Ponua district of the Ashanti region has been gutted by fire, and this happened on Friday, the 8th of October. Now we have a report for you. Let's take a look at that one. We'll come back and then we'll continue the conversation.
Friday night's fire outbreak destroyed all items that were in the dormitory. The early intervention by officers of the Ghana National Fire Service prevented the fire from spreading to other blocks. However, one firefighter was allegedly assaulted by some unknown persons as he was working to bring the situation under control. Although the immediate cause of the fire is yet to be known, the Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, DO3 Desmond Aka, says they picked intelligence a few days ago that some students were planning arson. The headmistress of the school, Emma Moaten Mensah, has been speaking on some interim measures being put in place.
Don't move out. Breakfast, lunch, and supper is being served as normal. Already some boys have been brought to me. They were found running home. This shouldn't give us the mandate to misbehave. We are still our Catholic school. Is that all right? Whenever we get any support, as Nana has promised, we will get it for you. The school is running to town to get a bale of white shirts. All those who are affected, we try to give you some. And then we are also depending on the regional director to make the appeals. We will also make appeals. We have some Nyinahin citizens who have been bringing us computers. We are going to call them and tell them this is what has happened. Mr. Duse and co, I believe that by now they have even heard it, and you will receive support.
The chief of Nyinahin, Nana Amampen Chum Boaten II, has described the incident as pathetic.
I was briefed this morning, so I decided to come over and have a look myself. In fact, it's so pathetic that at this day and age, government has introduced free SHS. Students should be grateful. They should appreciate the government's effort. Why set the school ablaze when you have gone through the walls of the school? Everybody is proud of his former school. Everybody is proud. We talk about all students' associations, how they help with the development of their various schools. And you, somebody who has just passed out, come back to burn down the school. It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Yes, we met the DC and the other stakeholders, and we said that as early as possible, there should be a committee should be put in place to investigate. It's very important. And then we also see how best we can assist the students who have been affected. Yes, at least with some of the basic things that they need, so that they can go through the rest of the term.
The police are still conducting investigations into the matter. Beds, mattresses, chop box, trunks, books, irons, and various items that students use have all been destroyed. Now, according to the students, apart from what they were wearing last night, they don't have any of their belongings now. They therefore want authorities to intervene by providing them with some of those items.
All right, so there you have the initial report that we have for you on that. Now, Sames, it seems that the chief seems to be suggesting, and there's another story we actually have here on citynewsroom.com that suggests that the students are suspected to be behind an arson attack on the school. They've just finished their exams. They are unhappy because they were not allowed by invigilators to cheat in the exams that they did. And so probably maybe because they feel their results may not be as good as they hope for, they are upset and they are angry, and this is the way they vent their spleen. It sounds outrageous to me.
Well, it is outrageous. It is outrageous if indeed what we are hearing is the truth. So again, let me look at it from the first angle.
Yeah.
Students will have to lose their property because of a fire outbreak. That's rather unfortunate, and it puts responsibility on parents to, if you like, kind of resource their children again, and again, I don't know whether anybody was injured in the process.
From what we've heard so far,
you know, and I'm not even sure what time of day this thing happened.
Well, apparently, according to what we have on citynewsroom.com, there was actually intel. So the police were expecting something like this because the school authorities of Nyinahin said they received intelligence that some final year students were planning to get some school structures on fire. As a result of that, a police team was deployed to the school on Thursday night. The police team was expected to be present on the school's premises again on Friday at 7 p.m., but the incident occurred at 6:30 p.m. before they could get there.
That's unfortunate.
Yes.
You know, well, look, we hear things happen in schools, but in my entire adult life, I haven't seen this kind before, where students will burn down structures in the manner that they have. Indeed, if it is the case that students did it, I think all those students, it will be very easy to find out who did it. I mean, a student population like this, definitely they'll be found out. And if they are found out, they should be incarcerated straight away. I mean, if they are below 18, they should be taken to the Bostal institutions. If they are above 18, to court and jailed. It's just what it is. If you don't push the laws that govern society, people will do what they deem fit to resolve their personal circumstances. And if you did not study enough to prepare for the examination, it's not the doing of the school. There are thousands of people in the school. How come you alone have taken this up? You know, and it's whatever. And I like the posturing of the headmistress. Show some leadership, you know, reassuring the students. Because obviously, of all the people in the school, not everybody would have taken part in this kind of conduct or even in support. And there are innocent ones who need reassurance and encouragement. I think she's done a great job, and that's some leadership. But if they find out who did it, they should be made to pay for it in many ways than just taking money to. Of course, they can't rebuild it.
No, they can't.
And people will come and say, "Oh, they are young people."
Exactly.
Yes. If you are young and you take a gun to shoot a human being, there are consequences. So if you burn down the structures of the school that is investing in your own life for your future, you do this to it. Especially for those of them who just completed. So what you have done is, I have just crossed the bridge, but let me remove the bridge so that nobody else gets to the other side. And that's sheer wickedness.
It is. It is. Not to mention the fact that they've destroyed their own future. Because as you said, the consequences that they're going to face.
And they would like to know them. They have to be named and shamed once they are found out.
Absolutely.
To set an example.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, the Institute of Education Studies issued a statement on this. They talk about the fact that becoming part of WASI is this kind of attitude of some finalists where there are riots and disturbances on some campuses. Now, we have on the line a representative from iFest. So Peter Pate Anti is the executive director of iFest, and he's going to give us his thoughts on what took place at Nyinahin and some other pockets of some unruly behavior in schools. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, madam.
All right, so we've seen the statement that iFest has issued regarding what you say is becoming part of WASI, the attitude of some finalists, pockets of riots and disturbances on some campuses, and you specifically hone in on what happened at Nyinahin Catholic School in the Ashanti region. Obviously, you mince no words in condemning the act and saying that you should, or the people who are responsible should face the full rigors of the law. But you make reference to the fact that it seems to be something that's cropping up in other schools. We heard about Bright SHS last year during the WASI and attacks on some headmasters, invigilators, etc. What else has come to your attention as IFEST?
All right, thank you very much. Let me make this observation. In 2018, we decided to track routes on campuses. I mean, disturbances that have happened on campuses. And I'm happy that my senior brother, Mr. Samens, is saying that throughout his entire life, he's not seen something like that. Now, what that report did was to track these routes for the past 10 years. And we realized that there has been some changes in the nature of routes that happens on our campuses. And that is, at first, it used to be just boycotting, dining, not going for classes, chanting war songs, singing on campuses and all that, to now attacking teachers. There were instances where teachers were raped in some of the schools in the northern regions in 2018. Now, destruction of properties. What happened in the tertiary institution, the latest one was a tech where a lot of properties were destroyed. This was alarming to us, so we put out the report and we indicated to stakeholders that we need to look at the whole issue of discipline on our campuses once again. And we realized that it is when students have been registered for WASI that they tend to create a lot of problems for teachers, for their own colleague students, and for the entire school system. So we were thinking that we needed to have a conversation as to how to handle these students when they register for WASI, because you cannot ask them to stay in the house. Of course, they might not do well when it comes to the final exams. And when they are on campus too, they might create problems for the school and other college students. So this is becoming something that is being part of WASI. Interestingly, the Ministry of the Ghana Education Service issued a statement getting to the end of WASI, advising school authorities to make sure that there will be an incident-free end of for the final paper. And they also asked the police and other security agencies to put their ears on the ground and ensure that some of these incidents do not occur, because it's been part of our system for some time now. Unfortunately, what happened at Nyinahin happened. Now, we've spoken to some of the teachers. It's true that they are doing some investigations, but the teachers on campus are quite sure of where this actually is coming from. And your investigation also collaborates with what we have also found out. We need to have a conversation about how students are now behaving on campuses. And it's not only this school. When they started the exams, some headmasters were attacked in some of the other schools. Some teachers have been attacked because in the minds of the students, these teachers are making it difficult for them to do whatever they want to do during the examination period. We think that we need to have a broader conversation on this and zoom into disciplinary issues on our campuses, because if you talk to the teachers, they will tell you that now discipline on senior high school campuses is getting out of hand.
Okay, Peter, sorry, not meaning to interrupt you, but yes, let's hone in on that. You talk about discipline in our schools now. We know that the GES has restructured their disciplinary code. We know that teachers are now restricted to the types of discipline they can mete out. Are you saying that you think there's a correlation between the change in approach to discipline in our schools and the pockets of riots and these violent incidents that we're seeing in schools now?
From what we have observed, and we are a research institute and we do this quite often. Well, from what we have observed, we think that we need to review our disciplinary codes on our campuses again. It is true. Psychologists have done this. They said that you have to always use positive reinforcement to ensure that a student will not, or a child or a person will not go back to whatever he or she is doing. But we need to also understand the context and the environments that each of these scientific experiments were conducted. and make sure we fine-tune it to suit our needs as a country. We are adopting these positive reinforcements, like asking students to write. I will not do that again in their notebooks for a number of times, like asking them to attend counseling sessions, which normally they don't even attend, like asking them to talking to them, sitting them down to talk to them, and then taking them through other forms of mentorship programs. So these things are, for us, these things are not working now, and we need to sit down and look at restructure our disciplinary issues on our campuses, because the teachers are really suffering. Small issues, the students will be threatening them. You are just left handicapped because you cannot do anything. I'm not saying that we should go back to the time where we used to cane students, but I think that we can have other equally deterring punishment for students who engage in these things, so that we will be able to streamline the behavior of the student. It is true that most of our authorities, I mean, those in the education sector, want students to develop their cognitive. So the focus is on making sure that the students learn, make sure that the students learn. But we cannot have students who are cognitively sharp but morally bankrupt. We cannot have scientists who will come out to develop or to develop a thermal plant for us, and at the end of the day, they will go and set the thermal plant ablaze. Then what use is the education that we are giving our kids? So we will need to sit down, parents, we will need to sit down, teachers, school authorities, the education managers, we need to sit down and look at these disciplinary measures that we have put in our schools and see which ones would help our kids mold their character to suit the society that we want to build. I say that I'm scared, because 20 years from now, those who will call the future leaders, those who will be leading these things, are those who are doing these things to us. And our future is very, 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 very going to be very, very difficult for us.
All right, Peter, thank you so much for speaking with us. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So looking at this situation, I mean, Peter has eloquently listed a number of issues here, and the way he feels we need to go. I remember when I was in secondary school. We, in our school, of course, you know that I didn't do secondary school in Ghana, but in our school, even though teachers were not allowed to cane, right, there was detention after school, and there were punishments that you would go through, that you better be a disciplined student, you better be shape up, you can't, and for us, for me, I should say, the thought of even wanting to cheat in an exam, it won't occur to you. Because somewhere along the line during your school period of being in class, everything, if you attempt it, even at that level, you'll be dealt with so harshly that it won't occur to you in a major exam to try and cheat.
But I was watching you as Peter was talking about reviewing the disciplinary code, and I saw you nodding in agreement. So you agree that the levels of punishment, I think currently principals of schools are allowed to use a certain amount of physical punishment, depending on the context.
Which schools are we talking about? Once I heard him talk about campuses, which suggests tertiary institutions, I got a bit confused. I mean, so I was like, okay, are we still talking about secondary school?
He's still talking about secondary schools.
Okay, all right.
School
now, I mean, look, even in our time, nobody was being caned in secondary schools.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, cane.
Okay.
I don't recall ever seeing anybody in my time in Swedu Secondary School or Laboni being caned. The caning regime belongs to the
primary school.
Elementary school. Okay. So that will have its own issues. But there were other forms of punishments, okay, like kneeling down, like weeding and stuff like that. I don't know if those things have also been banished, but suffice to say, they prevented us from conducting ourselves in a way that is not welcoming. He makes the point that we should review that punishment,
the regime,
and I think it goes without saying that we should review it. At times, some of these new age education advocates pick stuff from the US and Europe and then dump everything on us. But there are cultural nuances that apply to us, you know, in a unique way. That, you know, at times the children watch their teachers and tutors and they laugh at them because they know that you can't do anything to me, you know. And and I think he stated it eloquently. The real outcomes of these changes will be seen in their lives 10, 20 years from now. You know, you disapprove of the way something is being done in school, and for you, the best thing to do is to go and bend down the whole school structure. I mean, it's not a movie, you know. They are watching too many movies, you know, too many African movies.
No, it's true.
You know,
so
they see the thing and they want to put it into practice, and that's what we have. But I just think that they are antisocial behaviors that should not be entertained at all. If any boy, girl found in this space should be put behind bars somewhere. Because look, allow those who mean to get education to get the education. And you can't do this.
And I don't know what you think, but I there's a culture, it seems to me that there's a culture of entitlement that's growing among the secondary school students.
Well, but again, why can't you say the same of Holy Child School? Why can't you say the same of Achimota School? It's what we inculcate in the children. It's what can you do when you want to be, if you want to be part of this institution, what can you not do? You understand? I mean, they are all still under GES, but some schools are different. It means that there's a culture that prevails in these schools that should be encouraged. And I think that schools should be learning from one another. I mean, I can say same for my darling Swedish Secondary
Your darling Swedish.
You know, the new headmistress, Golda Andam, Mrs. Andam or Miss Andam, is an old student of the school. Now, she, prior to taking over as headmistress, was assistant headmistress at Wesley Girls. Now, for the last 1 year and a bit that she's been at Swedish Secondary School, you can see that she has brought a change in culture. And that's all we are talking about. You go to Swedish Secondary School and you see the whole place neat, the students well dressed, well comported. You understand? But that straight away tells you that somebody is working overtime on the way things are done. It's not just the reading and writing, which is the core essence of being in school, but how you conduct yourself, how you behave. Because there's a wider world out there which will call for a good conduct and behavior when you get the job world and all those. It's not book. You're not going to read a book at the workplace. You know, so I think that we should call for, you know, the call for reviewing some of these measures, very important.
Do you put any of this on parentage?
Oh, parentage speaks volumes. Parenting speaks volumes. I mean, look, you go into a class and you can determine the kind of parent that each person has. I'm telling you, you can. I mean, the kind of upbringing people have. You can just, by the way they conduct themselves, you know where this person lives.
So parents cannot absolve themselves of this at all.
Well, I don't know whether we can isolate them or it has to be part, because thing is that the parents has done their bit. They may not have all the resources as parents, and that's why they brought them to the school. And the school is form and substance. You understand? The form is the core essence of what they come to study. As in the substance. Then the form is how you mold them. You understand? And there are some people who get into a school very rough. By the time they come out of the school, they are fine and polished. And that's what the schools are meant for. So yes, the parents may have a responsibility, but the school more.
Okay.
No, it sort of reminds me of my first time I walked onto this campus, SHS University, and I was just totally blown away. Not even by the appearance of what things were like on campus, because that's already impressive as it is. But when you talk to the students, I said to myself, I said, which school, which secondary school did you come from? And I'm just thinking that there's a vast world between the secondary school they came from and what they've become after a year or two
in HSA. It's called culture.
It's culture.
It's the way things are done. And culture has to be insistent.
Yeah.
You can't allow people to do things the way they want.
Yeah.
And then expect to have a uniform culture or a positive, well-spirited culture. You don't have it that way. There has to be what you can do here, what you cannot do here. I mean, look at where we work.
Yes.
I mean, people come in here with all sorts of
ideas.
Give them 6 months to 1 year, and they start conforming.
Will conform.
Conforming to what? The way they dress, the way they eat, the way they speak, the way they relate. Because there's a prevailing culture.
Yeah.
And I think that's what
That's
it
really
is.
what it
I
is.
think you're right. I'm thinking of the Commonwealth Hall vandals now.
Vandals?
We've got Charlie
Did you go there?
Solo
Did you go
vandals,
there?
Vandals, they're solo of it.
Well, no,
No, but
vandals are cool.
Vandals, they're very cool. But they get up to some mischief.
But
they're
as for
great.
that one,
Vandals, that one is part of the
Were you in
Commonwealth
Qatar?
I
vandal
was in,
culture.
so see, I was in Legon before.
Of course.
But I was an opomate, what we refer to as Oponglo.
Yeah.
Legon and XB.
XB,
No, Mesa Saba and XB.
okay.
So we were the nemesis of the
Vandals.
So there was always that rivalry between them. But when I went to Tech, I was actually in Independence Hall, which was referred to as the old men's hall. At the time I got there, I didn't understand because it seems to have already started evolving. Independence has become a different kind of hall. But and like you said, culture is everything.
Culture is
you have to
everything,
insist on a certain way of being. I mean, when you go to KNUST, the Katangis, are very similar to the Vandals in the sense that they will all get first class, they will all get second up. I mean, it's incredible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're brilliant students.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I mean, I know that about the Katanga. I don't know about
the Vandals
because I was in there. I know that about Katanga.
Yeah.
I think one of these days we should invite Katanga people
to
come living the life of a Katangese.
Thank you.
No, seriously, but the conversation continues.
Yes.
Samalata Mensa, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining
so
us today as we discuss these important issues affecting our society. Let us know your thoughts. Send us a WhatsApp message 0550 585832. Our hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and we always love to hear from you.